Well, 2.5 months after the most consequential presidential debate of all time, I think we can say, America has watched as Donald Trump and now Kamala Harris have faced off for the first, possibly last time. With 2 months to go and the race neck and neck, a lot was riding on this for both of them.
It was the second presidential debate with a slight recast.
Where is our president?
You're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
After a short handshake, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris were off, beginning with the economy.
Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy.
Many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan.
With abortion rights a crucial issue this election, both painted a scary portrait of the other's position.
The baby will be born, and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby.
Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot.
And there was a subtle, nuanced debate on immigration.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
The debate was touted by Democrats as the prosecutor versus the felon, and Harris focused on getting under Trump's skin.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
While Trump questioned her record as VP.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
But not all his hits landed.
I read where she was not black, that she put out. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
With most of the debate in split screen, it was also 100 minutes of sassy reaction shots, from Kamala's poised chin holds to Donald's frustrated head shakes. The candidates ending their debate with their dueling visions of the future.
The American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and we can chart a new way forward.
We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry.
And that is our ABC News presidential debate.
Wow. One thing that's not up for debate is our man in DC, Steve Clemons. Steve, we should be clear, this was a long debate. It covered many topics. Obviously, it's reductive to declare a winner. Who won?
Look, I mean, I think Kamala Harris in this case, and I'm trying to be very objective, I think she won this debate. We even have Republicans like Vivek Ramaswamy and people who are very much in the Donald Trump camp basically saluting her performance. She was exquisitely prepared. She put him on edge, and she did really, really well. I mean, she performed way above, I think, expectations in this debate, and he did not meet expectations. So I think that gives her the win in a legitimate way.
Kamala brought the bait for Donald, and he seemed to take it. Did she get under his skin?
I think it was very clear she did. She repeatedly, pointedly confronted him with things that he did and said, particularly on abortion, but also the border, also the economy. And I think that you saw him get flustered and not come back with the kind of retort he might have done. So I think we saw her get under his skin many times in that debate. And candidly, I was surprised. I thought he'd be prepared for her.
Yeah, right from that first handshake, right? Trump made the point that if Kamala was serious about her promises, that she would have got them done over the past 3.5 years. Do you think that kind of logic would appeal to voters?
I think it'll appeal to some because, she was in office with Biden. But I think that her way to do this, and I think she did a good job, she kept saying, you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me, you're running against Kamala Harris. And so she put some distance between what he was, challenging as far as policy and what she's bringing to the table.
It's wild, though, right? Because she is the sitting vice president, and yet it seems that somehow she's kind of a blank canvas. No, voters don't really know who she is. That's kind of her weapon, actually, against Donald Trump, where people really do know who he is. That does give her the task of selling herself, though, to the electorate. Do you think she sold enough?
I think she's the new flavor of the month. I think we heard a plan, which we've never heard from her before. I think that she filled in a lot of the gaps for Americans who don't have any idea about what she stands for beyond her name. And so, yeah, I think she did a good job of basically talking about foreign policy, domestic policy, how she looks at issues. And she did it in a way that I think was unique and fresh, while she is clearly the first woman of color running for the office. She didn't talk about that. She talked about all these policy issues. So I do think she gave voters a very distinct and different picture of herself than what Donald Trump represents. We have a very clear choice between two visions for America.
And a long way to go. We'll see what momentum remains from this by the time we get to November. Steve, thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.